Welcome, Warrior. We are going live for our lunch live. So I don't know where you live, but here in New York City, it is lunchtime. So grab your lunch, grab your coffee, grab your whatever, and let's settle in and have a couple of updates this holiday week. Before we start, I want to say, you know what? Tradition in America is alive and well. And I'm going to tell you about New York City, what I've witnessed in the last week. That gives me a lot of hope for the future of families and children and all of us. But before we start, let's have a 5 by 5. Please check in that you can hear me, that you can see me, and that before I start talking, because sometimes I just keep talking, I go nonstop. So please, let's have a check in and see who's here. And you know what? Let me hear where you're from as well. There's Edie with us, always 5 by 5, Lionel Nation, loud and clear. Good enough for me. Two of the biggest warriors. Let's proceed. I want to start with also this holiday season. In the last couple of days, the Warriors, we have gotten a tremendous outpouring of people subscribing to our channel, following us on X and Facebook and Instagram. So I want to thank you because what matters most to us is that we get information and food for thought, things we want you to think about regarding child safety, digital safety, real time safety, things for families that you probably, for the most part, are not going to hear on any cable news. So that is most important that you join us, that you are subscribed. Remember, it's free. Do us a favor. Please subscribe if you're listening, because we do know about 73% of those who listen and follow the Warriors, they're not subscribed to the YouTube channel. So help us with our algorithms. We are always fighting algorithms to keep us in the forefront. So let's start. Oh boy, Edie says Bethlehem, Christmas City here. You know, here's what I noticed. I want to give you a little update about New York City. First of all, we are New Yorkers. Why should we, give up on our city? Why should we leave our city? Never. No matter how you slice it, dice it, throw it around, there is nothing like New York City. And there's nothing like New York City during the holiday season. Right after this, I'm going to be heading out to see the Christmas tree in Rockefeller Center. Despite the snow that everybody carried on about, I mean, I'm looking out the windows. Maybe I see 6 inches. You put your snow boots on and you head for the tree. I mean, it's no big deal, right? You just dress appropriately. As usual, though, things are blown out of proportion. It may be out in Pennsylvania by you, Edie, your way, out in Jersey, out on Long Island, maybe a lot more snow, but put your hats and gloves on and scarves and you get to it during the holiday season. But here's what I witnessed this year. I don't think it's my imagination. I witnessed a very strong, more than any other year, and I will say the past decade, because I'm thinking back, a lot of tradition coming back. And let me tell you about this here in New York City, okay, that everybody gives a bad rap. Today we're not here. We're going to be uplifting. We're going to have hope. We're not going to talk about the incoming mayor and what he's doing. Well, good and fine. Do that. We must remain warriors and do what we are setting out to do, and all of us join along. So I witnessed this holiday season so far, this return to, let's go to my old stomping grounds down by Washington University Square, down by NYU and Washington Square Park. They had a Christmas tree lighting. I want to say it was about 10 days ago. And several thousand young people turned out to carol around the tree. Now, this is in New York City. So that gives me hope, but it also points to something I constantly talk about. And I bring it up to my husband a lot, that young people are looking for a place to land. They're looking for community. And this, again, just proves to me, if thousands can turn out for a Christmas tree lighting in New York City by NYU, they are looking to come together in real time, get out of this isolation we keep hearing about. And we know exists, right, fueled by the internet. But again, they're looking to get out in the public. The second thing I saw was there was a church on Park Avenue in the 60s. And the church, beautifully decorated, and the church about 3 weeks ago did a call to the community. Everybody's welcome. Every religion, whatever. No religion, every religion. And what did they do? They filled Park Avenue again into the, I would venture to say, 1,000 people, maybe more, right? Caroling in front of the church and singing hymns and just, jingle bells. Again, community coming together. So to me, that says, again, people are looking to get out isolation. Then, I must admit, I was at the gym yesterday, and Of course, listening to disco music, you know, if you're a Warrior follower here, that that is my heyday, and that's what I love. That being said, you see, you know, at the gym, you have what 20 screens of different cable news in front of you, right? So I've got my listening to the music, so you could just see the chyron, you could just see the words, or see their mouths moving. And this segment comes up in a particular cable news channel, and it was about people are sick of dating apps online and they're exhausted. I think that was what they were saying. They're exhausted from these dating sites, and that a lot of people now, again, this is the chyron, so I'm not actually listening to it. I'm watching the mouths move. They had some woman on as an expert giving advice, and they were saying that they're so exhausted, Gen Zers, millennials, they're letting their parents manage their dating sites and pick out appropriate potential mates for them. Okay, I'll just let that simmer there for a minute. Then the expert comes on, and I can only see again the words underneath on the chyron, and she was saying, you have to, and these were some of the words also, not exactly her exact words, but these are some of the words I picked up. You have to get outside and meet people in real time. Now, I'm here to say there is fatigue online. There is fatigue all around us in community. We all know, fueled by the word I don't like to say, the C word, COVID, about this isolation, right? But how are you to really, something we always, I'm going to say preach at the Warriors for teens and young people, our youth, right? Remember, we focus a lot on youth, our future American adults and leaders. We have to mentor them, empower them, give them a lot of hope, right? Because everything is overwhelming. But let's stick with the hope part. And something we always talk about is you got to get out there and meet them. And I don't care if you're in a coffee shop, you're in a restaurant, you take classes. I was passing a store here on the west side yesterday, which sells kitchen things and all kinds of gift items, but they also have cooking classes. And you can see in because the windows are right there, so you can witness. And I saw all these young people in this particular cooking class, and it made me really happy because that's a place you meet other people, right? You can meet people at the gym. It's nothing new here. It's the same old playbook. You got to meet people in person because I think we can all agree, even at my age, our ages, whatever age you are, everybody always seems better, on the phone or online. We don't even have the phone today for young people. They're doing it all online. So how can you judge a personality or what a person's really like? You got to meet in person. So I'm thinking, okay, this might be kind of a dumb segment. But then I thought, you know what? If we can spread this information, get out there, don't isolate, meet people in real time. And we have to reinforce that because remember, I like to say our young people, 30 and under, have been born in this digital bubble. It's been thrown at them. It's been thrown at the parents and the caregivers. It's nobody's fault. Well, I could blame big tech. I think I will. Big tech's fault. The powers that be. We'll leave it at that. And if we have to go back and we have to reiterate and talk about basic things like cooking together, meeting people at a gym or a restaurant, so be it. We got to do it. It's our job to do it. So I was at least happy to see that. But I want to say, and you may be scattered across the United States, and you probably are, and also, outside of New York City, but tradition is usually stronger outside of these big cities, right? So for me to tell you, I am seeing so much tradition. And as Edie points out, I saw videos of people walking around in the weather last night in New York City having a great time. I don't care what you say. There is something magical when snow falls in New York City. At least that's my experience. It may be where you live as well. But you look out the windows and you see this falling, especially when it's brand new snow and you look out and everything's clean. Or Central Park is the most beautiful with the lights shimmering kind of thing on the snow before everybody walks on it and it gets ruined. But people love it. They go out, they have fun. So I'm saying this holiday season, I was even in one of our last remaining in New York City department stores, and I'm going to name it Bloomingdale's, running through the other day. And you know what? It made me happy because I actually saw people there buying things in person. The store was beautifully outfitted with red carpets, everything glistening. And it reminded me of the old department stores we all shopped in, right, at holiday season. Remember how busy they were? But I actually saw a lot of people there picking things out. And they even had boxes. Now, come on now. When do they even give you boxes these days? And I said, by chance, I said, do you have any boxes? The woman said, yes, we do. Would you like me to put it together for you and wrap it? I said, well, I could do that. She said, you know what? Let me do it for you. And I thought, you know what? Again, kind of a small return to what we all grew up with. So we've got to keep pushing no matter what goes on in the new year as we face the new year, in maintaining tradition, in talking to our young people, and just keep going in our lanes to create positivity and hope. So let's look at some of the comments. We have, welcome, Christina. If you're new, thank you. Hello, welcome to the Warriors. Our mission is always engaging, educating, and empowering families, young people. Digital safety, online, that's online safety, right? A lot going on with that. We all live in a digital world these days, not going away. So let's make the most of it and keep fighting to keep our kids safe and keep all of ourselves safe. And then the other thing, let's see, Hillbilly says, our Congress has really let us down. Well, today I'm trying to stay on a very positive note, but you're completely correct. However, moving into the new year, we like to say at the Warriors, there's always room for correction on everything, especially, let me give you some hope here. So we ended the year on, remember, everything we do at the Warriors, let's separate it out as we live in this weaponized environment here in the United States. Everything we work on is considered bipartisan, does not belong to a political party, right? So we may be aligned with the Trump administration. We may be aligned with, Democrats that are fighting for things we may not like, or people in the Trump administration we may not like. And there's certainly plenty to go around for both parties. But if somebody is doing something good, has worked on child safety, is putting forth, using their mouth and speaking up and using their position, we are behind them 1,000, 1,000,000%, and we will do everything to empower them, work alongside them, right? Now, that being said, we have a Congress right now. They have taken 18 child safety pieces of legislation and lumped them into one big hearing. This is right around Thanksgiving when everybody's busy, everybody's gearing up for the holidays, their minds aren't thinking about things. And, they want to get out of Washington, and we're all busy doing our things across the United States. And they took our beautiful Kids Online Safety Act, which, by the way, was watered down anyway, a lot of what they call markups, amendments. For instance, it originally said things like, let me break it down very easily, for all children, right? And just so you know, the basis of Kids Online Safety Act is that big tech bear responsibility and have transparency about content they're putting out. If something's harmful, it's up to them to take steps to remove it, to address it, okay? As opposed to a child, a teen, a parent, something regarding their child or any children. And we've seen the history, how tough it is to work with these big tech platforms because they fight tooth and nail. Why not? Because they're hiding behind something called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act from 1996, right? 30 years ago almost, which basically says we're a billboard and we're a newsstand. And I can understand why this was created in the first place. But how? Remember, every time there's something decent or good, predators, criminals, they're always figuring out the flip side. How can we gain? How can we steal? How can we do something bad, right? And so now we have the internet. And so big tech has been, just kind of hiding behind. There's no big tech accountability. And I've always been saying, behind the scenes, until we have some sort of amendment, sunsetting, kicking to the curb, as I like to say, of Section 230, we really can't get anywhere with any of these big tech platforms because they just utilize that. And remember, they have so much money. They rule the roost. They've got lawyers lined up that will tie things up for the rest of our lives. So how are we going to break through this? How are we going to really create, despite, I'm telling you about 18 pieces of child legislation. We had our Take It Down Act signed into law by the president and first lady. It was the first time a first lady actually signed a bill. So I like to include our first lady in that. That was back in May, somewhere around there, hot weather. I remember it being very hot in the Rose Garden. But Nothing really since that. Why do we have to fight so hard for child safety? Remember, Congress works for us, and we are the taxpayers. So what's going on here? So right now, we've got AI infiltrating. I know you see it, whether it's on your social media platforms. You do a Zoom, you've got AI companions everywhere. I'm looking now. Do you want AI to write this for you? It's all over. It's infiltrated our lives. It's been here, but it's just been massively introduced to all of us in the last, I'm going to say in the last few months. I'm going to say Chat GPT is already 3 years old. That was kind of getting everybody used to this cute new thing that could help us. But anyway, that being said, Congress right now, our Kids Online Safety Act, first piece of legislation that's going to really hold big tech, give us transparency. We don't know who works behind the scenes there. Who are their safety councils, right? Why? When we've had nude images of children proven to big tech platforms such as X, such as Meta, which you know is Facebook and Instagram, WhatsApp, prove this is a minor, and the parent will get back. This does not violate community standards, but it's clearly a nude image of a child. Now, that's what we're fighting against. So now we have Kids Online Safety Act, thinking, okay, 91-3 in the Senate. This is beautiful. It's going to sail through the House because there's a procedure, which I won't bore you with right now, but you got to take these steps, federal legislation. Now it goes over to the House side. Stalling, nothing's happening. Speaker Mike Johnson, another one who, let me call out, seems to just smile and stall things that are of importance to the warriors, such as bills like Kids Online Safety Act, not being, all it had to do is be put on the schedule to go to a vote. That's it. Nothing happening, collecting dust on the shelf, as I like to say, despite major pushback from both parties. Good people we have working on child safety, Senator Marcia Blackburn, Senator Richard Blumenthal, Amy Klobuchar, so many can't get it to a vote, can't get it on a schedule. And then all of a sudden, despite you have parents groups rising up across the United States like you can't believe. Now, media may not cover them. We in the Warriors certainly will. Parents SOS, Safe Online Spaces, Parents Rise, Heat Initiative, Designed for Us, which is a coalition of young people, ethically, young tech people, so smart, so engaged, who are creating, again, all bipartisan, to talk to other young people. We don't want this stuff that, you've used us as guinea pigs at 30 and under. We're here to create ethical tech. We want to work with you. Okay. So now Kids Online Safety Act right before Thanksgiving, thrown at everybody. We're going to, bring it, lump it in with all these other bills. Nobody has time in Congress. They're not studying up. And then to have a hearing the day after everybody returns from Thanksgiving break. 10:15 in the morning, not even the afternoon, where you might be able to do a little, speed reading or something. Just nothing. Okay. And realize in Congress, they have hundreds of bills to address. So it takes a little time to go through things and understand. Welcome, Frank. Thank you. Good afternoon, Lynn. Thank you for what you do. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and Lionel. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I'm digressing here for a second. I can't thank you enough. I'm trying to keep it light and hopeful today because going into the new year, there's a lot going on. But Congress right now, here's where they left it. They're marking up the Kids Online Safety Act. I don't know how they're going to mark it up anymore. When we originally, I started out saying this before, we had it for all kids. And then they wanted it. We got to have it. LGBTQIA plus community. We meant all kids. We meant those kids too. Okay? Also, again, a reminder, because big tech has so much money, they are a PR machine unto themselves. Anything you read about the Kids Online Safety Act, if you're to Google it, may not be that positive. But I'm here to tell you a lot of not the right information in those press releases or those sites that are talking about the problem with, for instance, we know from various studies, kids are fed dangerous algorithms, eating disorders, cyberbullying, predation, sextortion. We know all this. Plenty of studies, okay? We don't have time to go into it. Children who have been harmed, plenty of those, we have that. Plenty of us talking out about this. But what you will read about the Kids Online Safety Act is that it prevents children, all children, for searching for information they may need. They may not be safe in their home. And their only outlet of a trusted adult or a trusted site, can you believe this, trusted? Because nothing online should be trusted, is going online to search for information, especially our trans kids. They need to get this information. I'm here to tell you, the Kids Online Safety Act, you can search for anything you want. Nobody's going into your privacy, censorship, none of that stuff. You just will not be fed these dangerous algorithms from the big tech sites. Now, why? You say, why do they do all this? Money. It's profit over people. You know this. It's always money. Crass answer, but that's the answer to all of this. They can make their trillions upon trillions of dollars off the backs of kids. So I'm here to say, and we're demanding complete transparency. Who are these people who work on these safety councils we keep hearing about on these big tech platforms? Because, they're not doing a good enough job. Not doing any kind of job, right? We know, we have reports, 1 in 4 kids are approached online sexually. That's what we know about. It could be 1 in 2. Of that, we know almost half now, 48%. Again, that's what's reported. So it's higher. Will attempt to go out and meet that stranger in real time. There's something wrong with that, right? Again, it goes back to a couple of things. We got to talk to our kids. What about these kids I keep bringing up that don't have a parent looking out for them or don't have a trusted adult? We have to do better to provide for them. How is that going to be done, right? But also, the good news with all of this, to get back to, I would always bring up and still bring up, unless we do something with this Section 230 that's almost 30 years old, we will not be able to achieve any true child safety until we can hold big tech in some way, fashion, form accountable. I mean, why should they be able to make all this money off of all of us? There is something introduced right now, the Sunset Section 230 Act. And please go back and look at my interview with attorney Danny Pinter from the National Center on Sexual Exploitation. We just did this last week, talking about it has been introduced, what it means, and how we can all participate. Because believe it or not, if you're here, I need you to make the commitment to me right now that you'll make a note. Now you'll do it now, or you'll make a note to go to house.gov, senate.gov, find out who represents you, because you may not know. A lot of people don't know. It'll tell you. You put in your zip code, and you write to them. It can be very simple. I'll even put it in the body of this video. It's 1 sentence. Please support Kids Online Safety Act. Please support Sunset 230, Act. That's it. Because they do keep records. And believe it or not, it used to be, once they got about 10 people inquiring or leaving a message on the phone, because it'll give you the phone number too of the office. You can leave messages because we know nobody's there. You can also email. If you're a real warrior, you'll also write an actual hard copy, have something in writing. It's 2 sentences, right? 3 sentences. Again, I'll put it in the body of the video, a sample. But now we heard when they get 4 to 6, this is a new one on us. We just heard in Washington when we were there last week, the week before, that they must address 4 to 6. So that's even better for us. But that is participating in keeping everybody safe. Now, look, we live in this digital environment. It's not like it used to be at all. We have to get over what it was like when we were kids. We want to go back. It's not happening. We have to deal with what's happening now and what we're all going to do. I think we all must and can do something going into 2026. No, we can no longer sit on the sidelines. It is very important. Especially all of this AI. It's very disappointing to us at the Warriors, not just us. We do a lot of work in Washington, that our president would put out an executive order, an EO, as they call it, about AI. And basically that AI should be allowed to do whatever they want because it is necessary for global dominance and national security. Well, what about the national security of our children? What about all this predation, normalization, habituation? I don't know about you. And I know I work in this area. I am inundated on a daily basis with stories of, community leaders, fathers, grandfathers, law enforcement, teachers, clergy attacking kids or trying to meet up with kids, basically all fueled by the internet. It's all being done on the internet. So I feel like it's become normalized. Look, we know these things have always occurred. Let's be real here on the Warriors, but we also know the internet fuels this, and people become it's normal. How much abuse are we going to endure? Can you imagine 5 years from now? I can't imagine it at all. But that being said, we have to keep on top of this. Now, as we go into January, which is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month, something at the Warriors I've been thinking about and really want to focus on is, again, we want to mentor, engage, educate our young people, our future adults and leaders, right? I've seen the work done with young people, and we work on so many things with young people. They get a little encouragement, a little pat on the shoulder, a little bit attention, and how they shine, how they light up, and how that is what is needed to be done. So our focus for National Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention Month, look, we're not going to stop human trafficking. It is the biggest moneymaker. Law enforcement tells us it equals the drug trade, if not bigger, because it's easier. It's easier to traffic kids online. It's easier. People are vulnerable. It's easier. Young people who want to make a dollar, right? Easier to do things online, let's face it, than stand on their feet all day. I know it sounds lazy or whatever, but if this is normal for them because they've grown up in this internet bubble, we can't blame them. We have to help them get out of it. So our focus is going to be things like teen dating, violence, safety, because believe it or not, 1 in 3 teen girls are reporting violence in their very first dating experience. And a lot of these girls are reporting that they think this is the way it's supposed to be because the internet has fueled this kind of behavior. So we have to talk about things. Kids are regularly, being deluged with porn. And if that's their first experience in looking at something, they think that's normal. The strangulation, the beating, the harassment, followed by cyberbullying. So, okay, we have to get on top of all this. So that being said, I want to focus on our youth. There was a great article I posted today that Southern states, a lot of them, have taken to discipline in the schools, appropriate discipline, that, there are consequences if you do something wrong. And how now these states are going to be doing further research into this. Just a few short months, the kids' grades are all rising because there are consequences. Kids actually like rules and regulations, okay? But because they've been allowed for so long, especially this COVID period forward, to get away with anything, fueled by crazy adults, okay, we'll leave that for a second. The school is a place for learning, right? Exploration, friendship, lunchroom. We have to take that on, consequences, and teaching children there are consequences to things, not blaming them. Because again, all this has been thrown at kids and thrown at parents, but that parent-child dynamic, or that so many kids have no respect for their teachers. Remember going to school, it's like Mrs. So-and-so or Sister So-and-so, because I went to Catholic school. Well, we did have some lay teachers as well, Mrs., different names like Mrs. Miller and things like that. But there was that respect. And so we've lost that kind of whole channel of respect between the adult and the child. Now, that being said, we also, it's not them versus us in this new environment we're in the last, I'm going to say 5-8 years. We have to form strong partnerships, and we have to look out for the kids because the government really right now has let us down. The government, the state governments, getting back, I mentioned the president put out an executive order about AI. One of the biggest problems with this, right, because AI is not going away. When you have the tech CEOs, the Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, and you have Mark Zuckerberg and Sam Altman, at the dinner table with the president and first lady at the White House, I think the writing on the wall. You also have heavy involvement in them building the new ballroom at the White House. And other ventures in AI where they can all make a lot of money. But one of the most disappointing is that the states have actually done some terrific work in AI guardrails for our kids. And this executive order preempts would erase all of this work. It's not going to happen because the federal government, there'll be so many lawsuits. Things are already happening behind the scenes. And let me give a shout out to our governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, who has done some terrific work. Remember, we like to call out when you're doing good work, you're doing good work. Kathy Hochul instituted this past school season, starting in September, the Bell to Bell program, which is in almost all the states across the United States. But again, it's not a federal law. So it's by state or school district by school district. So you can't be forced to do it. But you put a state law that, from 9 to 3, I'll just use the school hours, that as an example. 8 to 3, whatever the school hours are, bell to bell, meaning no cell phones in the classrooms. And you know what? We thought there'd be tremendous pushback, kids be going crazy, lots of fights. Interestingly enough, parents were more concerned. They want this 24-hour access to their kids. We all survived, right, with the pay phone and no phone. Kids can survive. Different techniques in schools. They have something called a yonder pouch, which they're locked away. They can actually keep the phone on them, but it's locked away. There are cubbies in different classrooms where you go into the classroom, you put the phone in the yonder pouch in the cubby. Some schools have you check it at the main office, but it's working. And the kids don't seem to mind. And then when teachers are reporting here in New York that they love the noise in the cafeterias, who ever thought, right? They would love to hear kids screaming and playing and talking. Therefore, this is a good program that Governor Kathy Hochul is participating in. She also is participating in, she put into law the RAISE Act. Again, that is something holding AI, putting guardrails around all of this AI and all of us, not just the kids. This is something good. So she's done that. So she has done some terrific work. And also, now, you can also go back and look at my interview with Eric Misch. He's on here. And we were talking about warning labels on social media. You have warning labels on tobacco and alcohol. Not that this is going to stop really anybody from too much, but why not have warning labels? We talked about this maybe 6 months ago. Why not have warning labels on social media? At least for the public, for parents. Okay, they may see a warning label and they may then go to the Warriors. They may then start doing some research on their own and see how detrimental the addictive qualities, right, of social media can be for kids. We have so many studies. 66% of teenage girls suffer from, remember, the numbers are always higher. This is what we know about from various studies. And we're talking about, JAMA, like Journal of American Medical Association, the really verified places, okay, that this constant scrolling and being online and seeing pictures and comparing themselves is leading to depression, anxiety, eating disorders. So we want to talk about all these things, but how are we going to, we're not going to take the devices away. We want to lessen the time on the devices. We want to, look, I want to be like China. This is one of the things I like about China. For instance, TikTok, okay? TikTok, 40 minutes a day on TikTok, and that's it. And then your device shuts down. Not only that, it's good content on TikTok. It's educational, right? It's about your country. It's about science. It's about math. It's about nature. It's about things to explore. It is not all this slop, as it's being called now, being thrown at everybody. MZMNTT is 100% agree. So again, we'll fight in Washington. Again, I'm calling out Governor Kathy Hochul, my New York State governor, for doing some good work, for now putting these warning labels. Because people will say to me on a daily basis, pretty much, Lynn, how do you do it? How it's too big? How do you fight? How do you keep it up? How do you keep positive? Because we all have to have the attitude that we're in control. We're in charge. We've got to think this way, right? We have to lean on each other, empower each other. We have to have information. That's where you turn to linswarriors.org. You go back on the channel here. You look at some of the experts. Just food for thought you can think about, share with kids or grandkids if you have them. If not, be aware. A lot of this applies to adults too, right? Lots of scams going on online with adults. And they're going on because people are falling for them. So if you have some awareness, some education, you're not going to fall for it. For instance, when the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office a couple of months ago was telling me, Lynn, we have one division devoted to this pig butchering, this scamming. I'm like, well, what is this? This is a horrible name. Tell me more about it. They said, we can't keep up. And this is just in their jurisdiction, okay, in Brooklyn, New York, of people getting scammed online, where they call it, I know it's not very nice, but they call it pig butchering. That's what it's called. They kind of fatten up, the victim, and then they go in for the kill of getting money from them, getting access to their accounts, all kinds of things. So let's be aware. I'm sure, like I'm getting on my phone constantly, these weird messages like, and I have security features, goodbye. I got one yesterday, last night, goodbye. Seemed a little weird. Most people would say, who is this? But don't pick up any strange numbers when somebody's calling you, because if somebody wants you to leave a message, don't download anything. Don't make sure if it says it's your bank or something, you really look at that email. Just ignore it. Ignore it, because that's not how they're contacting you. So the devices have opened up the world to the predators. And so far they're winning. But again, getting back to, if we help ourselves one thing a day, we learn something, we talk to somebody else, we leverage our platforms for good, we've done our jobs. Our goal at the Warriors, the way I look at it and teach everybody around us, we have a lot of great warriors out there helping us. We don't do this alone. We exist because we have volunteers that help us when we do outreach in the communities. We exist and can travel because we do get support and donations from people. We are a nonprofit. We have a lot of people behind the scenes that do help us. But if we help one person, one child a day, we've done our jobs. And you have to think of it like that as well. And a lot of people say they're overwhelmed, they're depressed. Don't let people steal your brain power. We're going into a new year. It's time to appropriately fight back and be a warrior. And that being said, we all have to step up and protect our kids, our, again, future American adults and leaders, because where will we be with AI? And all we keep hearing about is so much horror with AI. And I'm here to say, yes, that does exist. But I wish everybody would also talk about, or really very strongly, there is some terrific AI. For instance, with all of our schools, when we did the national report cards that were put out about 4 months ago now, maybe 3 months ago, every state was failing, right? So I just told you a story about southern states have decided they're going to have more discipline in the classrooms, more accountability, more consequences, and they're already seeing an uptick in grades and behavior, right? Because behavior is infectious. One kid's fresh, another kid's fresh, right? Already in just a few short months, seeing change, right? Again, kids want, believe it or not, guardrails, okay? Kids want schedules. Kids want consequences. Again, we have plenty of studies that tell us this. But all 50 states failing in math and science, and the highest was like a grade 12 in a state, was at 32% in science. That's not good enough. So why aren't we having the AI as a real tutoring tool, companion to uplift? Nobody knows when the First Lady put out a program she wants to have in all the schools across America, K through 12, about AI empowerment, a contest to help us be global leaders. I've asked schools, I have asked teachers, I have asked students, did you hear more about that program? What exactly is that program? How does it work? And nobody seems to know. So again, we have to all get on the same page. And that I don't see that. So listen, we'll fight for you in our state capital, across the United States, in Washington, D.C., but you have a responsibility right in your own home and community. It can be done. Because I am seeing, especially in the last year, more people stepping up, more people forming organizations, more people helping survivors. Let us remember that our mission at the Warriors, not only protecting children, education, travel to do all this. We have a lot of exciting things coming up in the new year. We'll fill you in as we go along. That we must support survivors, empower victims. because right now, not a lot happening for them, not a lot of support. A lot of what we do at the Warriors is helping them financially, is giving them a leg up, is just being there for them. So we all know somebody. So you may not have children. You may not know anybody who's a victim of crime or trafficking. Understand, though, we really all do know somebody, because all of this intersects with domestic violence and all kinds of crimes. It is like a big wheel with a lot of spokes. So let's get on board. Let's all be warriors. But this week, let's take a step back. Let's take a breath. Let us celebrate the holidays, this Christmas going into the new year. Let us think about all the good and how lucky we all are, right? Let's stay on that positive side of hope. And let me leave you with this. The younger kids are stepping up. The alpha generation, those born in 2010. So what are they? 14, 15, going into 16 right now? They are putting down devices more. They are going to libraries more. Their grades are on the uptick. There is a lot of hope, but it's up to us as warriors to encourage that, to support that, and always tell the kids how much they mean to us, and we are here to help them. With that, I want everybody to go out and have a fantastic day, eat some good food, watch some old TV show, go out for a walk if you're in the snow. I am heading out right now to Rockefeller Center to witness our tree and see all the happy people. And that again, I've been seeing a lot of people in New York City with children. Makes me so happy. They're walking through Central Park. They are taking carriage rides. They are visiting the stores all over the place. And what could be better? I leave you with, everybody should experience New York City once in their lifetime. There is nothing like it. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, on to the new year. We'll be back. We want to keep it a little light today. Understand there's a lot of good things happening and you're part of it. Thanks for joining us, linswarriors.org. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you again soon.